I saw. And so that's just... Now, you've got to remember that this is rather unusual writing in the last half of the 19th century, when American writers were as formal as European or English. And that's why when Huckleberry Finn was published, the Massachusetts said it was shocking, trash, slum talk. How could you do this in literature? Well, that's Mark talking, but here's George's vernacular. He says, I tell people, let's don't fear the future. I'm looking forward to a good night's sleep on the soil of a friend, he told the Chinese. I don't know how that translated, but it could have been very messy. He wrote a famous pornographic Elizabethan send-up about, it was half pornographic, half sort of scatology, but it's very funny. And he and Joe Twitchell used to roll around laughing in the woods, which is a funny sort of an image. Christian conscience there never was. Nevertheless, his articles about the Bible, which he said had only one function that he'd ever found, and that was it was a great juvenile incitement to masturbation, he said, the Bible. And but this was all nonsense, of course, because he was raised, until he was perhaps 25 or 30, he was without question a typical kind of Mississippi-dwelling racist. His family owned slaves, 3 or 4. He remembered his father whipping one. He was a provincial, but he changed. I think largely through the efforts of the woman he married. It's often the case. She made a better man of him. He married into a family which had broken away from the Presbyterian Church because the Presbyterian Church was claiming that there was divine sanction for slavery. And a lot of those Congregationalist churches went the other way, became abolitionists. He married into this family, and I think it freed him up no end. He became then, he wrote several essays against slavery, against lynching. This is a really important thing to remember about Mark Twain, I think, and why it's very different to Australia. Mark Twain was born into an incredibly violent society, a frontier of absolute savagery. And he's living in a society in the 1840s, he's growing up in a society where 1 in 8 Americans is a slave. He lives through a civil war which he escapes from. He heads west, where 750,000 people are killed. I mean, it's the first real mass slaughter. So he's going through all that and the divisions that creates in American society.
And is also a train buff above and beyond all else, I think. He took the Twain letter to America last year on a trip to promote Australian tourism, and he's written an article that we'll use in our publication. Don Watson, of course, thank you, Don, so much for your interest in coming to Newcastle to talk and to give us a greater understanding of Mark, so never leave. I'm going to leave it there.